Welcome to the Miracle Hotline podcast. Share your miracle by leaving a message or texting a voice memo to 412-446-0330 or visiting miraclehotline.com. Your story could be featured on the show. Don't miss out. Subscribe to the Miracle Hotline podcast to catch every inspiring episode. All right, Lou, so you're the first guest that's making a repeat appearance on the Miracle Hotline. And
yes.
When I first interviewed you, you were the catalyst that you were the first one, and then you brought in all these other miracles that I discovered later. So the first time I heard about Barbara Fuina and Tony and the car, you introduced that. And then from there, she introduced me to Joanne Vanzwell from the Rosa Mystica Society, where the car is now. So all of these things came about because you started it. So I really thank you, Lou, for introducing me to all these cool things.
No problem.
So it was It was 2 years ago that we had maybe 2.5 years now since our first interview with you, where you described your miracles, your connection to Padre Pio and the electricity that you felt when you touched the statue, and then the water.
Through my hand. Yes.
Yeah. The water that that miraculously appeared at the statue, and then you used that water to heal people. So your story was amazing.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So I just wanted to follow up with you, like what's been happening in the last 2.5 years with you, with this newfound intercessory power that you received through Padre Pio.
Well, the only thing I could tell you is, I speak to Barbara and stuff. And first of all, that water that was from Tony Faria over at Seaford at Maria Regina Church, where they said it was coming from underground, and they don't know where it was coming from. And people were taking the water, and they were blessing, and then there's a big statue of St. Padre Pio that somebody had donated. I think he donated, and there was pictures of miracles happening.
Yeah.
And I took some of that water, and I gave it to a lot of people, and a lot of healings happened. My wife, actually, one of my wife's, her uncle, he lives in, I think, Texas. Mm-hmm. He had cancer. She sent me a letter back saying thank you. I says, for what? She goes, my husband's in remission. I says, you have to thank God. That's who you have to thank. Well,
So did you send her? Did you send her some water?
I gave it to her. I think I either sent it or they were here because they were out visiting, and he was fighting cancer, and he was getting treatments. And I think I either gave it to him or I sent it. I don't remember, but she wrote me a letter and saying thank you. And I says, you have to thank God. But I says, we're here to help and bring out the good of people. What we do. And then from what I heard, so that Barbara told me about that, and then that's how it all came to be. And now, ever since then, let me explain something to you. First of all, people that ever since that day, what happened in church, and plus, knowing Barbara and Tony, they added to it too. But you know what I noticed also, because I think, I don't know if I told Barbara, even before that situation happened, on March 21st, 2023, when the cover went through my hand, when I touched St. Padre Pio at that time, before Easter, what happened was, Barbara told me that she was telling me like certain things because, she told me about her husband, about what he went through. And so in other words, all this stuff happened, I think, before I met her, and I didn't catch on. And from what I understand, from what I learned through the years, is it's called you're the chosen. And I'm like, what is the chosen? And he goes, it's God who picks certain people for certain things. So I was happening things were happening to me, and then the statue happened after that. So what happened is anything that the Lord picks you, like, he'll pick you to do certain things, like I would hand out the water, try to do good things, and then what happens is, and I did the prayers, and then, so I would do all that stuff, and then if the devil would come and the devil would attack me, and I go, I asked Barbara, I go, what is this all about? And I says, and then so she says, and I started to accept it. She says, like you have to, Lou, you have to accept it and you have to calm. I used to get worked up.
Right.
But now what happens is, for instance, in my home at night, I got pictures dropping out of nowhere.
Wow.
Just dropping to the floor. And
so are you still collecting the water now from the same statue? Is it still
No, because the church pushed people away. They push people away now. So they didn't want anyone there. And then I remember when Tony was alive, he goes, they shouldn't be doing that because that's what, at least people have something to believe in. You know what I'm saying? So they pushed everyone. The church pushed everyone away from getting that water.
Oh, so you can't even go to that statue anymore and get the water at all?
You can get the statue, but they don't want you. They did something with the water from underground. They don't know where it was. It was coming up from like near the statue, and they couldn't understand. It was just like coming up, and then they pushed everyone away from getting that water from that area.
Right.
Yeah. So you could still go to the statue, but the water thing, I think they did something with, so you can't get it. Yes, it's a true story.
So how are you doing? Are you still able to intercede for miracles and healing in any other way now, that especially since that water's not available?
Right. What I do is I have some of the water that I still have, and I remember, I was speaking to Barbara. She says what they used to tell me is you could add more water to it and just add salt. That's what I heard. And guess what? I've been doing that, and I use it. And then what I used to do too is Barbara used to laugh because when I have a Maria Regina at the church in Seaford, her husband had started that group. I used to take water from when it was raining out. Yeah. The water would come off the roof and fall into the buckets. And I started taking water. She goes, I said, but to me, that's sacred ground. Right. And I gave some of that. I gave a little bit of it out. It did work. But the other one, I try to get sometimes water, because she said it used to come out of the pots. So if it rains, I try to take it out of there. But she said they had to actually try to shut that water down. But I try to get the water coming off the roofs, out of the water pots, because that's, to me, where miracles happen. They have pictures of all kids on the statue. You got to see it. It's packed with pictures of miracles and things written down.
Wow.
So I give the water from that, and it does happen. Yes, it does happen.
Okay, so you're still able to. You've seen with you praying with people, and they're asking for miracles, and you give them the water. Yes. It's still happening now. You're still doing this stuff.
Yes, because what happened is they told me Maureen, the connector, the director that Tony, he passed on, so she took over the St. Padre Pio prayer group once a month, the third Saturday of the month. Anybody know? And so she told me a lot of stuff. She was going into the Bible, and and I was like, listen, I don't know what you're talking, because this was all new to me. But ever since then, things been getting better. And like there was one when my mother was in that time she was in Affinity in Oakdale nursing home. Yeah. So I took some of the holy water, and I said, let me just give it a shot. So I was making a joke about it. I said, they have a connection. I want to see if this really works. So my mother blessed herself. She was and she had a roommate named Debbie, with all machinery connected to her. And then so they blessed themselves. I said a prayer, and then there was a guy across the hallway in a wheelchair, and I said a prayer with him. He blessed himself. And then so what happened is I come back 2 weeks later, and my mother's bed is empty. And I'm like, where's Louis Montanero? Because I'm thinking my mother, like, she died, because she's 80 years old. And I says, where's Louis Montanero? I said, the woman that was here. Like, I says, Louis Montanero. I says, my mother used to be here. And I'm like thinking, now she's gone. And she goes, oh, your mother got better. She's on the third floor. Wow. And I go, all right, now look. I look to my left, the woman that had all the stuff connected to her, she's sitting on the chair with everything disconnected. Now I'm like, oh boy, what's going on? And then I go across the hallway, and I see this guy leaving. I go, what's going on with you? He goes, I'm out of here. He says, I got better. He goes, I'll put my suit on and I'm out of here. He goes, I can't wait to leave. I said, congratulations. Now I'm like all confused, and I'm like, what's going on? So I walk into my mother's room. There was a pulmonologist there, and I said, excuse me, can I ask you a question? My mother, this woman, this Debbie here, and the guy across the hallway, I said, I have to ask you a question. Do you consider to be really, really fast that they all got better? She said, honestly, we never expected this. Yes, it just happened like that. I said, I'm serious. So she goes, I'm telling you that, yes. Yeah. And I said, well, did you ever hear of St. Padre Pio? And she says, yes. And she took this thing out. She goes, you see this? Sister Teresa, it was Sister Teresa. Well, it was a little flower. I think it's Sister Teresa or Sister Ann. I forgot. But she took the thing out of, she wears it. She goes, I believe in that, and I believe in St. Padre Pio. And when I told her everything here, she says, without a doubt. And I told her about the water. I says, but this woman's connected to 100 machines. She says she just got better, just like that. And
That's amazing.
I said, it's amazing. And then, and then the guy across the hallway. So those things that happen. And so, I'm not going to say that it's, so, and then, there was another one in the prayer group, and it was a woman. She was there. The administrator I think she got injured or she was away. And then this woman said she had cancer, like breast cancer.
Yeah.
And then, so she said, with breast cancer, and she said, Louis, my kids are not talking to each other. I said, what's going on? She goes, since my husband died, the kids ain't talking to each other. She says, it's not good. And she said, my son's in Portugal. And she says, so I go, listen to me. I says, I'm going to see what I can do for you. I'm going to say a prayer for you. I don't remember if she went to, after the meeting, we went to the church, or maybe I went to the statue and I prayed for her. And then, so what happened is I said a prayer for her that to St. Padre Pio. I went to the statue after the meeting in Maria Regina. I went over there. I said a prayer and, to help her out, make her sons talk together and for her to get better. All right. Month later, I go into the meeting and she says, Lou, I have something to tell you. I says, okay, what's going on? She says, that thing about my son, my kids and I. She says, she took it in front of everyone. She goes, they're all talking to each other.
Wow.
He's coming from Portugal, and we're finally all starting to talk to each other. And then she says, my cancer is getting better. But I think she was getting a little better before that. But she says she's getting better. And she says, I just want to say thank you. I says, thank God. I says, he's the one. But I says, not a problem, And she says, now they're all talking to each other. And then the director called me up, and she heard about what happened when she spoke to me. I heard nothing but quiet in the background. Dino, she was quiet almost like 3-4 minutes. Like it was like a shocking. Wow. And then she goes. I says, yeah, it's true. And she goes, she says, oh my God. And she didn't know what to say. I says, I'm joining the crowd because now I know I have a connection to St. Padre Pio. And the thing is, and the devil attacks people like us that probably went after Barbara. It went after her husband, from what I learned through time over knowing Barbara. And he comes after us because it ain't just like a regular person. Yeah. It's just like God.
So this lady was in your Padre Pio prayer group. Okay. And then she brought up her problems and her health problems, and then all of you prayed for her and for that, and then the water too, and then all these great things.
I prayed for her too. I mean, they prayed, but I prayed for her when I left. Yeah. And I asked God. I says, I want her family to get back. She's lost her husband, and she's got cancer, and she needs treatment. Yeah. And I said, can have the family get back together again.
Now
it happened. Yes. Another thing, just let's say this real fast to you.
Yeah.
Also, this is very important. My sister had cerebral palsy. She had the worst cancer that you could have, right? Yeah. And so what happened was I was going to bless her with, she was leaving Stony Brook Hospital, the cancer center. And I said, where are you going? I said, you're leaving early. I was going to come here and bless you. So what I did was I grabbed her. It was in the winter. I grabbed her and I blessed her with her. And I said a prayer to St. Padre Pio. I would say maybe about a month later, my brother calls up and says, "Ooh, you're not going to believe this." I said, "Believe what?" He goes, "The thing she had, she don't have it. It's gone."
Wow.
I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, my mother calls up She was crying. My mother was crying. And I go,
Wow.
I says, listen, because my brother didn't believe me. He goes, Lou, it doesn't look good. She's not going to make it. And I says, you can't say that. And that's up to God. If he says no, that's one thing. But if God wants her to live, and I says, Joey, that's why. And he goes, Lou, you were right. I says, I'm not right.
She was,
it's all up to God.
So the whatever illness she had went away.
She
was healed.
She had cerebral palsy, but she always had that.
Yeah.
And then so she had breast cancer. Breast cancer, the worst that you could have. I don't know if it's three or four, whatever they call it.
Right.
Because my brother's a doctor over there. He's like a nurse doctor, and he told me, he goes, Lou, it don't look good. It's aggressive. I don't think she's gonna make it. And I says, Joey, don't say that, Joey. I says, that's not up to you to say that. I says, you can't make that. I says, I'm going to grab her. I'm going to pray to St. Padre Pio. I said, it's up to God. You can't. I said, don't say. I said, you can't. And he's arguing with me. He goes, Lou, I know what I'm talking about. I deal with this all the time. I says, no, you're wrong. So don't tell me. And I says, so that's when she was leaving the hospital, and I was trying to get in there. She said that they were leaving early, whatever. And I grabbed her between the doors of the hospital, Stony Brook Cancer Center, and I grabbed her. And then I blessed her, and I prayed to St. Padre Pio to her, and like a couple weeks later, my brother calls up and says, you're not going to believe it, it's gone. I said, what's gone? He goes, Rosalie, she got better. And he goes, Mom's crying. Crying.
Amazing.
I says, and I got on the phone. My mother was crying on the phone. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, my mother's crying because in the middle of a chest, she had some type of, I don't know if it was a tumor. And then she had a point in her neck. And you know what my sister said? This was before all this happened. She goes, Ma, she asked my mother, how come this has all happened to me? I get cerebral palsy, now I got breast cancer, and I'm going to die.
Yeah.
She didn't say die, but she said, she knew that she had the worst.
But then the cancer went away after you said the prayer.
Yes, and I grabbed her.
Wow.
They were leaving the hospital. Because I don't. She lives in a home in Dayton Hollow on Long Island. I don't always see it, so I grabbed her and I said, "You're not going nowhere." And I grabbed her and I hugged her and I blessed her with the word. And I said a prayer and I said, "St. Padre Pio, please save my sister. Give her another chance. This girl went through cerebral palsy. Now she has this. Please, she deserves another chance."
And she's okay now.
And then all of it. Yeah, she's doing good. She's doing fantastic.
Amazing.
It's a miracle.
That's great.
It's a miracle. Yeah, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
So now you're getting attacked by the devil, and some like
all the time,
weird things are happening
all the time.
So what kind of things are happening that are, because the devil doesn't want you to pray for people or help them?
Not really. No,
so he's trying to stop you. So what's been happening?
Well, I'll tell you right now. When I was sleeping, I was sleeping. I was sleeping one night, and I had like long hair, and I felt like something was like dark, like touching me, or was something that was moving. So I woke up because I was sleeping on the couch. The light was on, and I woke up, and my long hair was in midair, and
sticking straight up.
But it was up. Yeah,
do you have
no electricity because
do you have long hair, or when did this happen? When did you have this long hair?
I had because I cut it down shorter.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit. It was I had to go for a haircut, but it was a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. This is true. So I'm sleeping, and like I woke up like real fast, and like I caught it, and then it dropped right after that.
Oh my gosh!
And I go,
so your hair was sticking straight up.
Oh my God! Yes.
That's crazy. Wow.
I can't explain to you. Yes.
But it wasn't a good feeling. It was bad. You felt that it was...
No, it was not, because it's evil. It's evil. It's not a good thing. And then I started blessing the house more, but, you got to keep blessing it, And then, so after that, I got scared. I was like, maybe I should take a picture of it and, like, have a camera on, but I never really, I want to start doing that too. But that happened at one time, so that's what happened. And I started seeing that. And then the other thing was, I wake up in the middle of the night now. Listen to this.
Yeah.
I wake up middle of the night, and in my dreams, I got people like coming, attacking me, and I can't force them. I forgot what happened. They come at me. It's like really bad, and there's nothing I can do. And then what I do is I wake up in the middle of the dream, and like they come right at your face, and so that's one of them. And then I like try to fight them back, and there was times that I just like woke up, and it was major bad.
Oh,
So
and then you said something happened when you listened to Barbara's show of the interview on the Miracle Hotline.
Yes, all right, okay. I'll tell you what happened, and I even told Barbara about it. Okay, it was Easter it was one Easter recently, and my wife stepped out. It was like after Good Friday, because it was the Easter Sunday. It was like on that Saturday, before Easter, and I was cleaning out the dishwasher, so I put my cell phone on top of the counter, and I wanted to listen to Barbara's, about the interview she did with you. Yeah. Because I like to listen to her, because it's an amazing story that
it is.
She went through with her husband. Yeah. So I start playing it, and then clean out the dishwasher. All of a sudden, a black widow spider appeared from under my phone.
Oh my!
And I go, what? So it would run away, and I said, that's the devil. I said, it's got to be. And this happens all the time. So I got tired of it, and I just don't play it no more. It knows I don't like black widows. The devil knows that.
So
he
it
knows how to
stopped you
press my
from
button.
listening to that show.
Yes. Correct. And listen, and you know what's weird? Listen to this. When I do it to other people, it doesn't happen. Explain that to me.
If you listen to other shows, it doesn't happen.
No. If I play Barbara's thing,
when other people are around.
When people are around, it won't happen. It only happens when I do it by myself.
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
I go, it makes me look like an idiot. and it happens more than once. So I just, because they get bad vibes, and it knows I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then the other one was every summer above the bathroom door, when I look above the bathroom door, there's always a black ant. It knows I don't like black carpenter ants.
Yeah.
So it would just be one, and then I kill it, and that's it. There's no more. So it just appears. Okay, so the time went by. I would never look up and give it the time and energy, so I ignore it. Well, guess what? I was coming out of the bathroom, out of the shower, going into my room, and there was a light switch, and there was like a book covering it, like it was a little bit dark, and in the corner of my eye, I saw something move. And I killed it. It was a black carpenter ant. He's trying to get me now at other places because he knows I don't look. Yes, and I call Terminex. There's no other ones. This thing
Just
only happens at one time. One ant at one time, because it knows I don't like black widow spiders, and I don't like
black ants,
black carpenter ants. Right.
Now, what about you had a car accident? What happened with that?
Okay, the car accident was, I was leaving New York Blood and Cancer on Old Town Road in Port Jeff, and New York Blood and Cancer, they something that I had, it was like it was disappearing. They said it was something that was swollen. They have to keep an eye on it. Thank God it wasn't. And then I was on my way home. I was in a good mood, and then all of a sudden I had my brand new 25. It was 2025 Tacoma, and this happened like in the new year of 2026, like in March. Okay. And so I'm going down the road, Old Town Road. I pulled to the right, and I said I want to go back the other way. So I look left, I look right. As I'm about to, there was a car all the way down. So I says I'm going to go take my time. So I'm making the turn. There was plenty of time to make it. So I'm going to make the turn to make the left, like a U-turn to go back the other way. And then all of a sudden, something hit my car, went boom, 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 boom. And he T-boned me, hit the driver's door. He threw me like maybe a quarter of a block. He pushed me all the way back. It was an infinity. So he was going at least 70, no, I would say 80, 90 miles an hour. And he threw my truck all the way back. So I woke up. I was dazed, and the computer thing went off, says, "You need the police." I said, "I don't know where I am." She kept asking me. And then so she says, "I'll take care of it." So I'm coming to, and I go, "Somebody hit me." I go, and I was and then all of a sudden I hear these girls screaming at the top of their lungs. They go and get him out of the car, get him out of the car. And I'm like, what are they screaming about? Like somebody, like they were screaming like somebody was killing them. And I'm like, they go, get him out of the car. Two or three girls. They go, get him out. And I'm like, I woke up. I go, that means either this car's going to blow or it's either going to blow, and that's what's going to happen. And I'm like, I have to get at it. And when the thing hit the door, my arm popped. Something popped in my arm. I did damage to my left arm. She goes, I can't get him out. And she says, push the door. I says, I can't push it. I can't get it open.
Yeah.
And I says, and she goes, hurry, you need to do it now. I said, I just told you I can't open it. My left arm is hanging because I popped something in my arm. I broke something in my shoulder. And then, so she says, try the handle. And I opened up the handle and it opened up and I got out, thank God. And then all of a sudden the stuff that was leaking, antifreeze and oil, was gushing like water. And so they all said, get back, because we thought it was going to blow. And so we all I'm grabbing my left arm. And then the guy goes, they speed here all the time, he says. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I think I know that now. And then the car's pushed all the way back. He had an Infiniti. So his passenger right front tire, when he hit my driver's door, he T-boned me. My tire, he took my front driver's tire off and his passenger right tire off. They must have interlocked. And the undercarriage from both vehicles, they ripped out about maybe about about 3/4 of an inch to about, he said it was almost to maybe a foot. Yeah, because they were pulling. He said, yes, it was about a foot to a foot and a half. He said it ripped out the undercarriage from both cars because the wheels interlocked.
So are you okay after this accident? Did you get any?
No, my arm. No, I had injury. I did. What happened was, the thing that popped in my arm is there's a cartilage. Cheated hockey players get it, football players get it. And what happened is, I broke something, a cartilage in my left shoulder between the arm and the neck. And he says we could like cut it and put a plate with 2 screws in, or you could just live with it. He says, because you would have to like have it in a cast. I know it was a cast or something. And I says, I'm just going to leave it. He says, I just leave it. And then, I live with it now. And I go to physical therapy. I've been going to, the therapy helps me a lot. Yeah. I go to chiropractor, since the accident, I do that. And then, there's certain things I can't do no more since the accident, and then the month before that, I was doing the snow, I was doing snow. I couldn't breathe. They had to call an ambulance the month before that.
What, you were shoveling?
I couldn't. I had my snowblower. I did everything with me and my son. Then I went to go help my daughter. And when I was with my daughter, I couldn't breathe. And I says, I better eat because I don't hear her say nothing. But so I couldn't eat. I put my food on the side. I said, Louis, keep an eye on me. I said, I may actually call the ambulance. And then all of a sudden, when I sat down, something was wrong. Louis, call the ambulance. They call the ambulance. I sat down on the floor because my doctor's telling me, so your blood rushes to your head. Well, guess what? That didn't help. My whole entire body went numb. Hands and everything. I thought my number was up, and they come in and go, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. My whole body, I'm numb. I don't know. And he goes, so they gave me oxygen, and then they ran other tests, and then they did angiogram. I'm good with that. I woke up in the middle of that stupid thing, and then they found out, which I never knew I had, was asthma, which I never knew. But the thing was, they're giving me all this medicine, which is helping me now. But who would ever hear 2 months in a row? I almost lost my life in a snowstorm. I couldn't breathe. And then the following month was the car accident. And let me tell you something. That's the devil come. Listen, that's not it. Just it. So I would say about a couple weeks ago, from this day here, I was coming over the bridge, over a Smith Point Bridge in Long Island, Shirley, and they would do construction on the right side of the road, right? So as they were coming off the bridge, there's a guy, he had to make a right-hand turn, but he needs to make a wide turn. So he went into the center of my lane.
Oh gosh.
And right in front of me. And I go, what the heck? Right after these other accidents. And I go, it made a right. He came into mine. I turned to the right. I almost hit him, or it would have hit a tree. And let me tell you something. I got so scared. And then I went back and I had words with them. And, but these things are coming at me nonstop.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And what I do is from what I learned through Barbara and things that are going on is, listen, because I know God shows us. It shows us, and you can't run away from it, because I try to run away from it. I try to not be bothered with it, because it's a lot to deal with, but it's not a bad thing. But the thing is, with all the bad stuff coming my way, I'm learning to deal with it. Like Barbara says, you have to calm down a little bit, and then she's right. I've been calming down. She said, Lou, it's a good thing. So what I do now is, when it comes my way, I say, listen to me. Like if the devil starts this, I go, listen, devil, go to hell. I said, go to hell. I said, in the power, in the name, from the power of God, I condemn you to hell. And I said, Jesus is right next to me with his blood. I said, I condemn you by the power of God to go to hell. Then things start getting a little better. Yeah. And, so Barbara was trying to help me with that. And it comes my way all the time. I'm getting like those are the things. I mean, that's, you don't expect it, but now I accept it. I accept things that are coming my way. And also, I notice now at night, my son noticed, and my daughter, his fiance, they were in separate rooms. They heard somebody walk in the hallway. And I go, yes. And what I do is I go around stuff that's in the house. And like at night, it knows that I don't like the squeaking of the ground. And I say the things. I says, Jesus is here with me. I says, leave, you're not wanted here. And then, I'll blitz some water over it, and then it comes and goes. And then we'll get knockings on the door. Like my son had it, I had it. Like they knock on your door. And listen to this. We were, me and my wife had a disagreement, and then the door slammed. Wham! And we both went back to sleep. I didn't even want to know about it, because, they're saying it could have been, I don't know if it's the devil, but someone told me, someone that could tell the future said, Lou, it's a good spirit. You're lucky. I go, what do you mean? She says, it's a good spirit. It's a gentleman that he thinks he's back. He thinks he owns the land. They tripled it. They subdivided it into 3 separate sections. And he goes from my house to the house on each side of us. And she goes, you're lucky. He loves kids and he's a good spirit. I said, okay, good spirit. I says, and then,
it's scary.
So I deal with that. Right. And then this is another thing, which I don't know if I ever told you this. Listen, these are things that I see that people do not see. I don't know. Listen, I never asked for this, but it's something that I have and I accept it. One day I was on the phone with one of the guys from the Long Island Railroad. It was on broad daylight, and I saw a black kid walking through my living room as I'm in the kitchen on the phone, and he had like these dungarees on, and he looked like from the 1800s, and he had no face. He had no face.
Wow, that's scary.
I said, what's that? So I went to go drop the phone, and I was going to tackle it, but because the wall was there, by the time I got there, it was gone.
Wow.
It was gone. Yes. And that scared the hell out of me. So I don't know, because I've been trying to research it. I just hope there's no cemetery that my house is on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was someone that died in the house or whatever,
So you're getting all these different weird things happening, but you're still, you wanted to give up the gift that you have of being able to.
I wanted to be, I'm not going to lie to you, because
it was getting overwhelming.
It was getting overwhelming, but you know what it is? You can't leave it. It's with you. It stays. Listen to me, because it's from God. Yeah. And it's actually, I accept it. It's okay.
So now you're aware of all,
I'm aware,
all these things.
I deal with I deal with it.
You just got to keep praying, and you
got to keep positive
and keep praying.
Right. And God,
And you're still.
And can I tell you something else?
Yeah. And you're still taking prayer requests and miracle requests, and you're still doing it now.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah. This is what I do. I do pray, because I learned this from Barbara. And what I do is, a lot of the times I'll get the prayer request, and I used to give it to Barbara, and a lot of miracles happen. And then, so I tried it myself, and yes, like it happened with my mother in the hospital, and that lady in the machine, and the other guy that was there in a wheelchair.
Right,
yes,
right.
yes. And then, so I did. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, it's like 4 miracles. I'm not making this up. And then, see, I couldn't accept it, and I didn't understand. But now, because I accept it, and even though I try to break away from it, listen, you can't break away, because you know why? Listen, it's a good thing, because when you accept it, He'll protect you in other ways.
Yeah.
He'll protect you. And I didn't want to accept it, but I've been trying to break away, but you can't. There's no way you're gonna. There's no way. And
well, I'm glad you're still. I'm glad you're still doing it, and that's a good thing. And you're hanging in there. And even though you've had a lot of weird things happening, you're still doing it. So that's great.
And see, that's what I do when I try to keep everything positive. You know, everything's good. Things do come my way, and I could, like, there's the crazy things that go on. There's other stories that I could tell you that it's just so many stories. And you know what? Can I tell you something? I learned a lot of this because I listened to Tony Freya. They played at the Knights of Columbus when Barbara invited me to go. I listened to Tony, everything he said.
Yeah.
And can I tell you something? He's right. And like he even said, he goes, Tony had said, and it makes a lot of sense. He goes, you know what? You should take a walk one day and try to talk to God, because He does listen to you. And he said, it's a beautiful thing. It was on a recording. They did one of those things, those recordings, on a camera. And Tony, rest in peace. And they're trying to make him a saint, from what I heard. So they're working on that, because there was a couple that got into an accident, a young boy that we found out in our prayer group, and they screamed out Tony to help them. And guess what? After the accident, they were fine. Tony, they said they felt his presence. Yes.
Wow.
They felt his presence. And Barbara has a lot to do with it too. Barbara has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
I learned from them. But all these things, I think, happened before I met Barbara. I didn't want to admit it, but yes, it did.
Yeah.
But I learned from them, and it added on. And they're very blessed people. And Barbara helps people with marriages, with they help you with everything. She helped me with my marriage.
That's great.
I mean, she's fantastic. Great. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well, and you're still hanging in there, and you're still blessing people with the holy water and praying. So yeah, that's great, Lou. Well,
it all works good. But if anybody ever needs anything, like you said, I'm willing. See, like this is what this is all about. Listen, I try telling people what's going on, and like someone told me, like they said, like, I don't know if I should say. All right, like Barbara told me, because I said I get annoyed when people don't understand. Barbara says, you have to understand something. People, they don't, because they never experienced this, Lou. And I used to always get annoyed. And I, as time went on, she's right. So what I do is I kind of accept it, and I see that you can't get it because people don't understand. They never experienced it. And I used to get very annoyed. But now I come to the conclusion that, there's certain things that you say that they understand. There's some things they're not going to understand.
Yeah.
So that's how I grew. And I grew, thank God for Barbara Faria and, and Tony. And and I'm just saying, that woman's amazing. I'm just being honest. That's where I learned a lot of stuff. Yeah. She's amazing. And now I think what I have, I know what I have, and she tries to guide me a lot. Also, there's another thing called, there's a church in Massapequa, not church. It's a place where they sell stuff. And they got stuff from St. Padre Pio that Barbara, she donated a statue of St. Padre Pio.
Okay.
And, I forgot the name of it, but it's in Massapequa. And there's a lot of miracles in that store that happen.
Yeah.
If you want,
cool.
If you want the owner, one day, I could always, if you want to speak to her, she knows a lot of miracles happen. She has a lot of stuff in the store that was donated.
That sounds good.
From people that had a lot of things that happened.
Yeah. All right, Lou. Well, thanks for catching up and all of your stories and your challenges and your miracle stories. But I appreciate it, and we'll follow up with you again.
If anybody needs anything, I don't know if you want my number now.
Yeah. If you want to give your number, people, if you want them to call you, that would be great. Give us your.
All
phone
right,
number.
my number. Yeah, I'll give you my number. My number is area code 631-786-0903. 631.
Okay.
786-0903. If you call me, I'll do it, and I can hand some off to Barbara too, and I do my own also. That's if anybody, if they need it, but they have to believe, or it doesn't work.
All right. That's so good. That's so nice of you, Lou, and that's such great work you're doing. But it was great catching up with you, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you for joining us on the Miracle Hotline podcast. If you have experienced a miracle or an extraordinary stroke of luck, don't hesitate to share your story by calling or texting us a voice memo at 412-446-0330 or visiting miraclehotline.com. Your message could be featured in an upcoming episode, or you may even have the opportunity to be interviewed. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to ensure you never miss an inspiring tale. Additionally, if you'd like to contribute to sponsor the show or advertise with us, please reach out. The Miracle Hotline podcast is made possible by the generous support of sponsors like Imagine Audio and Media, your one-stop destination for all audio and video production, voiceover, and media transfer needs. Thank you for considering supporting our podcast.